because the women, the Qs, have to be able to come in powers, into this world at some point. Yeah, at some point, so we can bring balance to the chaos and shit and the murders and the violence in this world, man. Because it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be, at least it could be some type of balance or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's never going to be no balance if women continue to be slaves in the mind and shit and not really going after their passions and building empires and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? See, over here, I teach the Qs prevention before solution. I think you have to be able to prevent a problem from happening and not necessarily solve the problem. You know what I mean? They have to be able to be to identify unrighteous energy. You know what I'm saying? Before something bad happens to you. And the only reason why a lot of these women have childhood traumas on their soul now because they didn't know how to protect themselves. And they didn't know the unrighteous energy. They couldn't identify it. Nobody taught it to them. So I'm teaching it to them now. So I can kind of like reverse that or at least attempt to reverse the childhood trauma situations that they still may be having on their soul right now. Because a lot of those childhood traumas began with the parents. And I know some parents did the best that they could or whatever like that, but that's what we do over here. We see one way how our parents treated us. We revolutionize that shit to be better parents to our children. We don't repeat none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even if you was a good ass parent, we're going to try to be a better parent than you. If you had the best jobs, we're going to try to have a better job than you. We're going to keep on making shit better in the ancestry and the bloodline. That's what they taught. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel should happen. Because a lot of times, and this is an example. It's like a lot of parents. One of the first major childhood traumas that I've seen and I experienced is child neglect. Is when a parent will put more energy, more love, and more support and understanding in an intimate relationship with another person. They will actually skip over their own children, right? Skip over their own children and do that for somebody they barely even know and won't even dedicate that time and that beauty and stuff and consistency to the growth and development of their own child, a child that they helped create. It's not the greatest creation a woman will ever make or any human man will ever make is a child, a contribution to it. Because, if you're going to build more strong families and you're going to build more strong nations in this world, you got to start with the children. It starts with the youth. It starts with what you created. The first school of instruction is inside the household. That's the beginning. Before that child even gets to the environment, it's taught stuff in the house. So women, men, or whatever, but I'm speaking on behalf of the females or the Qs over here, is that's where it started. And you got to be able, like I have a child, right? I got a son, right? He mixed, right? So he part Saxon culture-wise, genetically. Like I studied that building. I'm gonna go later on in that. I know, right? You know what I'm saying? And what I gotta do is that his relatives don't identify with that, right? They don't identify with that culture and everything. They wasn't taught it or whatever like that. They don't care. And I'm looking at it like, just because you don't acknowledge something don't mean it don't exist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to rob my son of his culture because you don't want to teach it to him when I see that shit in his ass every motherfucking day, man. I'm supposed to just ignore that shit? That's another trauma situation. You know what I'm saying? Because when we flip it back, because with those kids, it's like when you was a kid, right? I know you remember, like, you'll draw something and you'll give it, you'll draw it and then you'll give it to your parents or whatever, like your mother, father, and they'll kind of like ignore you or don't even really acknowledge it shit because they're watching a football game or some shit like that, or your mom is cooking, whatever it is she's doing. There's no acknowledgement in it, into the art, into what she's trying to be. There's no acknowledgement in it. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of those kids, when they wasn't getting that love and those things that they needed, for their growth and development, what did they do? They went to society. They went to the environment. That's the next stage. You'll leave the house, you'll come off the porch, and you'll get into the environment. So everything that you lacking inside that house, you feel like you need that, so you're going to find it in the jungle. And that's how a lot of these kids develop mentally and how their minds start working based on that. So we feel we have to be able to change it. You can't put a relationship above your children's growth and development at all. if you don't want to repeat the cycle. So that's why I said with childhood traumas, which is a major part, you know what I'm saying, of being a cue, because you have to change your mind. You have to look at who you are. I mean, you really got to look at what you want to be able to do in your life and go after that. You can't be looking at what other people tell you to do. And when we look back at children, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, with my son, he mixed, right? So, again, a lot of stuff that I was taught, you know what I'm saying, outside of the Black Panther shit, my auntie and them, or even inside, they were teaching me some stuff. At some point in our lives, we don't want to start questioning like almost everything. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff that they told me wasn't necessarily true. It was true based on their experience to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like some of like this, for instance, they said, I'm a mixed child just because, just because the father is black, the kid is black. So what they want me to do, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people in society is looking at it like, don't teach him about his white side, just teach him his black side. Why the fuck would I want my child to be culturally handicapped for? I see that shit in his ass every day. Like, why would I be listening to these people? That shit don't make any sense. I want him to master all that shit. The Saxon side, black side, Dominican side, every side. I want you to master all that because you can do it. Because it's in you. You just gotta give the power of thought, and you know what I mean? And I'm gonna teach it to him. And I think that's another trauma too, man. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of people put on their children as well. Like they just think that, oh shit, you know what I mean? Because he got a black father, he automatic. People don't understand, man, just because you black don't make you all the way good. Some of these people who be talking that shit, their ancestors are the ones who captured the motherfucking Africans in Africa and sold them to the motherfucking white people, man. We don't go that far in it, but you don't know who the fucking people is. And that's another thing about ancestry. My ancestors I have on my wall, in my war room. Like, I've seen those people before. I got connections to them people. Emotional connections. They not a figment of my fucking imagination. I know their names. Right? You know what I'm saying? These people talking this ancestral shit. You don't know none of those people. You don't know where they really came from. You ain't shake their hand. You ain't hug them. You ain't share love or anything like that. You don't know those people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I teach my son. I say revolutionize it. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna have love and all this shit for these ancestors you don't even fucking know them. But then you got relatives that you around every motherfucking day, dog, and you treat them like strangers and shit. That shit is weird to me. That doesn't build no strong families, whether you black, Spanish, or whatever culture you is. You know what I'm saying? You don't acknowledge the real ancestors, I said. You know what I'm saying? So tonight I'm pretty much gonna just end with that. I just look at it like the stuff in the past needs to be changed. You know what I mean? If you look at our lives are revolution. You know what I mean? Every year, dude, every year, every 6 months, somebody's coming out with something new. Like a Dodge Charger, right? Next year is going to be it's going to be a 2023, 2024, 2025. Every year, you're supposed to become greater and greater and greater. You're not supposed to be stagnated in one motherfucking place. You're supposed to grow. And that's what revolution is. It's growing. It's changing shit. When you change, you grow. You know what I mean? So that's what we started off at. Because a lot of people, they'll start telling me what I should be. We don't even know who I am. We don't even know what I want to be in my life or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why revolution is so important in the mind process and action and behavior. Because if there's a problem and these people have been doing that same shit and it ain't solved the problem, I'm not listening to you. I'm not about to be the 100 motherfucker in line doing the same shit that didn't work. No, I gotta have a thought process to be able to look at that shit and be like, how can I create something out of my own brain where that problem can be solved? And you have to think revolutionary in order to do it. Because you gotta change shit. They didn't change their way. They stuck in one kind of way and shit and it's not working.